Welcome everybody to race one of event one of the GT race. We're also going to blast through races 2 and 3 of event one. Now, the way we're looking at season 2, we have our 4 teams that are passing through. Obviously the Racing Drones, Neo Storm, the Bandits, and Blackheart Racing are all going to be back for season 2. Replacing the the two teams that didn't make it are going to be 2 new teams decided by 2 GT events. For event 1, we have 10 invites, and for event 2 we have 11 invites, maybe 12, I don't know. Now everyone has ideas for their own team. Everyone that's gotten an invite and won an invite has been invited to this event, where the winner of each event gets a team after completing 3 races. When you come top 6 of race 1, you move on to race 2. When you come top 2 of that, you move on to race 3. Otherwise it's elimination. So you've got to do well in 3 races, as well as winning that last one to get your team. And there is one group of people called the Syndicate. They are very, very actively wanting a team. They've got the best drivers from season 1 on their team. Not exclusively, but just some of the best, some of the more noble ones. Then Miresan, Jota, Smoke, insane drivers from the other teams will form together to just take part in this one combined effort. And they plan to take a team. So if you see any of these black, red, and white cars with the gold trim, that is most likely a Syndicate driver, and they're just hoping to win and get their team in at least one of these 2 races. So here we are with event 1. We're going to be watching Jota and Den. They are the 2 top drivers from season 1. You'll see Jota's gone right, Den's gone left, and you will see there are straight up 5 of these guys in this race. So half the grid is Syndicate drivers. They've got about a 50% chance at this point of taking this and getting a team. Den, however, is sitting all the way back in 5th, not doing too well. And he gets destroyed on the loop. 4 cars dropped on that loop. Watch out for that first loop, guys, because that is crazy with a full grid of cars going through it. Den has dropped all the way back down to 7th. He's going to have to fight his way back up. However, he only needs to finish top 6 to make it. Jota, however, is just pulling away from the pack, as these guys do. When they take the lead, they drive so well that it's hard to keep up. And Jota is just going for fast times. Den's past Corpseless, pushing himself into the top 6. That's a safe spot to be. But remember, you've still got to, hold it for the race. It doesn't matter about the first lap as much as it does about everything else. Ooh, hitting that wall's not good, and we have Edward fighting Den for that 6th place spot. You want to hold it. Oh, he's gone a bit wide. Someone has come off entirely. I think that was Edward. Such a big gap from all these drivers, and Jota will actually just keep extending this lead for a bit here because he's just on another level. Jota and Den are just both insanely fast drivers, and it will be a shock to see them not take both events 1 and 2. Ooh, he flipped over a bit late there. He was kind of sideways for a bit long, but he has flattened out at a nice race. And there's no car advantage for this. That's what I love about the GT events, is everyone is in the same car, so it's not too bad. It's not like there's any complaints about someone having a better car. Everyone's got the same thing going on, just with their own customized libraries. And I do like that even though these Syndicate drivers are all in the same car, as we can see 2 of them here ahead of Den, they're all in the same team and same color scheme. They have actually alternated their colors, so the red, white, and black are in different orders on each one, so that way each one does look individual in its own way. Man, I never have the boost for this jump. I always miss it. I always fall short. And you've always got to remember to hit the boost pads the second you land, so you can actually boost. Otherwise, you just lose all your speed. We have Jota coming up and finishing his first lap with a 2:17. That is an insanely good time. I don't know what the record is on this track, but it's probably not far off that. This is where it would be good to have a co-commentator, but I just felt like doing this one alone because this is just a great little 3 races that we're going to watch out. We're going to watch all 3 of them. Oh, it looks like Mickey got taken out on that jump there. Didn't quite make it. Now, I hope someone else hit him, because it'd be quite sad for the guy that designed Cobalt Sphere to be making a mistake on it. Animax has moved up to 6th place, so he's currently in the running to make race 2, and Den has pushed his way up into the top 4. Jota is just flying through here. Absolute perfect cornering there. Gorgeous. Ooh, tap the wall a bit. Comes out of that one a little sideways, but he's still doing perfectly fine. Looks like... Oh, Gambler has fallen off, and at some point, Verlock's Cheetah also fell off. Den managing to save that jump with the boost. This thing, if you come off a jump sideways, but you've got the boost, you'll generally be okay. But if you don't have the boost, that can definitely cause you some problems. You'll pretty much always miss it if you come off sideways. These boost pads really force you to like pay attention to what you're doing on the loop. And then we have this just outside the sphere. This track is just so well designed, and it really utilizes the space and just the layout of the sphere. Again, Jota just taking his time to rotate. Is that just a syndicate thing, or what's going on here? It's going to be weird seeing these guys not driving drones cars next season, but it's good to see some drivers mixing it up. And obviously, after their first season, they want to do their own thing. The first season was a scramble, right? Because people just wanted to be on a team. But this time, these guys are earning their team. They're quite happy to do so, and this way they're getting their own team. And they formed a bit of a friendship and a brotherhood going on as teammates and just dominating this league. So it's good to see just the relationship develop between these drivers as they're coming into the end of the second lap. Jota is flying through the air here. Ooh, it's a much slower lap. It's a 2:20. It's about 3 seconds behind that first lap. Let's have a look at Den once we see this gorgeous cornering and exit of that split section. A 2:18 for Den, so he's about 2 seconds faster than Jota on that second lap. So he is on his way, trying to catch him. Den is definitely one to catch up. He has proven that time and time again, both in races 2 and 8 of the first season, where he gets wrecked at the start, he's way back, and he does fight his way back up into the top 4 quite easily. Here he's fought his way back up into the top 2 just from sheer drive. And these guys, honestly, if I had to explain why these guys are so fast, it is pure practice. They race these tracks in preparation for these events for a full week. Like they're just on for hours and hours, just practicing and just getting the hang. Ooh, and cutting it a bit tight. Oh, off the wall, off the wall. That is some major time loss for poor Jota. If there's ever going to be a chance for Den to catch him, it's going to be that incident right there. We actually see Den fly past here, so that is the time difference between these two, and that Gambler's just as far back. So it's a huge gap to try and catch up on, and I don't know if Den's going to have the time or the track left to be able to catch up on Jota. These guys are just equally good, and it'd be hard to decide which one of the two is better. It depends on the day, really. Different days, different one of them is just more successful. I think Den might be slightly faster, but he's more accident prone. We can see the change in the clock back there. We probably didn't look at it properly, but if you wanted to rewind, see that corner, how far apart those two are just on their lap time. Obviously, you know, race time is a little harder to line up because there's no, normally it's easy to edit these to line up a cut from one driver to the next because you can generally see where that other driver is. You can line that up, but no one can see Jota. Jota is so far ahead. He's just not even on the same screen as these people. Like, at no point here will you see him, despite the fact it is a very open section with a lot to look at. He is just gone. He's basically already finished the race. Going through that final jump, just such a huge lead, and there's not really anything anyone can do about it. Flying in for a good time, a 2:18. He's then coming on the follow-up. How fast is this lap going to be for him? Looks like a 2:17.6, I think that was. So Jota's best times that first lap at 2:17.4 with Dan Miresan having the 217.5 on that last lap. We're on to race 2. If we want to pause and we'll go back a sec, we can have a look here. Unfortunately, Velox, who was doing so well most of that race, Edward, Mickey, and Smoke all get cut out of this. It is Jota, Dan Miresan, Gamble Silver, Chase Fox, Corpseless, and Animax proceeding on to race 2. 4 of these guys are part of the syndicate. Look at that. Syndicate top 3. Fortunately, we won't see that in the season. We have a 4th one here as well. Huge start. All these drivers are just top level competitors. You'll have seen them all through the season getting top 3 finishes non-stop. Okay, these guys rarely finish outside the top 3 except for that one race on Smooth Drift where 2 of these guys actually finished quite low in like the bottom 10 or the bottom 3 or so. But otherwise, these guys have been top 4 contenders all season, and they just dominate when they're on the track. So it's insane to see him here. And look at this, Corpseless. He's always putting up a fight. He started out just being, you know, part of the Nigai theme of being together the whole race. Nigai guys were side by side, but Corpseless has excelled and really gone above and beyond the rest of his team. And he's constantly been fighting, especially in the later half of the season, to just take that lead. Here he is fighting with Jota for 2nd place, and then he'll hopefully be able to move on to fight Dan for 1st. But realistically, you only need that top 2 finish. Nothing else really matters. Oh, huge flight from Jota here. He skips the jump, so he's not losing any speed on the jump. Track splits right and left here. Unfortunately, apparently the left track is slower. So according to these drivers that have obviously run these tracks for a week to practice, the left track is slower and the right track is ideal. So that could just eliminate Corpseless from this race just based on how much of a difference it is. We'll see them come back here and there's just no sign of Corpseless at all. He's dropped all the way back to 5th place. That is a massive time difference on these splits, and unfortunately that's just track knowledge will just ruin that for you. Missing out on something like that because of track knowledge is actually quite disappointing, because we'll see Chase and Corpseless both went the left path and they are both in 5th and 6th because of it. Ooh, Corpseless moves up. He's fighting for 3rd now. He might be able to bring it back, but there's not much track left there at 90%. Jota has taken the lead off Dan just at the end here. Animax is just coming up behind. Flying in, hoping to get into that spot. Animax already has a team, but he would love to get a 2nd. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter. Jota and Dan proceed on to the last race. You probably would have guessed that was coming based on the fact that, you know, these are the 2 perspectives we've watched this whole time. I realise now that we've had no background music through any of this, but oh well, here we go. Into the final race. Sit back and enjoy. Jota versus Dan. Who's going to take it? So both these drivers, crazy enough, have elected to, as a mutual agreement, not use any boost to this race, even off the starting line. A little bit wide for Dan, but a bit too tight for Jota. Huge gap. Up here to see this pass. Very nice and tight for these S turns coming up, these S bends here. This is where you make your big pass. wall there, and that put him back in second. Better than this. What is it? Yeah, 80% completion. Race is pretty much done and dusted unless Den can close this gap quickly in these corners. Oh, and he does. He's gotten close. Oh, he's cut it too tightly and hit the wall. It's over with just 2 turns left. Congratulations to Jota on becoming captain of the Syndicate, the new team for next season. And this is the team to watch out for. Drivers like Jota and Miresan at the forefront of this team, like this, it's going to be hard to beat them.